Ladies and gentlemen, this is Rex, and this is You Are Not Where You Think You Are by the channel Kurzgesagt in a nutshell. Yes, new Kurzgesagt video. I don't know if this is gonna be about something about, I guess, hard science or a philosophical topic which Kurzgesagt tackles. Because this is why I love this channel. This channel can basically tackle any topic, right? Basically can tackle existential crisis thing, which usually is the theme of their most of the video, but sometimes they can tackle that philosophically. So I don't know if what this topic is going to be, but you are not where you think you are. This is basically, give me a thought that is probably going to be one of those ideas that you can never know anything for sure, right? When you start to learn about any scientific topic and basically go deeper and deeper and deeper, there's a point where you come across where you think like, we can never be sure of anything 100%, right? It doesn't matter what it is. Like if you measure something, you can never measure anything 100% accurate, right? Whatever measurement you come across, that's like you agree at a point, and from there you'll just move on, right? Because if you measure something at very pinpoint accuracy, right, whether it's centimeters, millimeters, what about the crease of the millimeter? What about thickness of that? You can just go in and in basically, and there will not be a point where you're like, oh, this is 100% accurate. So this applies to everything, right? I mean, when it comes to temperature, you can never go to the absolute zero. It's not possible. I know there are some theories like you can do something like compress and expansion and things like that, and maybe come close to that, but those are the theories. Same thing with the speed. You can never go to the speed of light, right? That's the limitation. So everything, like we come to agree at certain points, right? After that, yeah, we can never know anything for 100% sure. I guess this is going to be some similar topic like that. So let's watch it. Remember, if you like my reaction, do follow and subscribe so I know which type of videos to react to more. Check out the reaction. There's a link in the description. You find a playlist of all the Kurzgesagt video I did. And yeah, let's watch it.
Look around you. Where are you? Where is this place you're occupying? Somewhere in a room, maybe in a city, on a continent, on a planet orbiting a star in a galaxy among billions. But where is all of that? While this may feel like a daft question, it turns out that the concept of an absolute position is something humans made up. In a nutshell, the universe is a big bag of space that has things in it. If someone removed all these things, the stars and planets and black holes and dust, there would just be empty space left. In empty space, the concept of having a position loses all meaning. Empty space is uniform, the same everywhere. The space we occupy is not like a stage under our feet. We can't mark specific points or staple something to space-time as an anchor. Without things, there is no position. We are really ever only at a position in relation to something else. Which also means that things we take for granted, like up and down, are actually relative too.
I mean, yeah, sure, but space is an actual thing, right? I mean, space can curve, space can expand and all that. But then again, since space can stretch as well, as we know, I guess this point still follows, right? If there are no objects there, what does it even matter? Because you can't really pinpoint anything where you're at. Imagine if you're standing on some surface which can stretch. How are you gonna know where you are? Because the point you basically can point out, that might have curved in a weird shape or stretched out into major circle or whatever, because we're talking about two-dimensional. But still, I guess this point makes sense.
Okay, let's fill the universe up with things again and try to find out where you are right now, relative to everything else. Let's start this video at a familiar place and then get increasingly weird. From your perspective, the world is seemingly flat and you can move in 3 dimensions. It's what physicists call a frame of reference, the perspective you have of the universe and how you see things moving around you, where your up and down is. Your frame of reference is correct for you, but not for the rest of the universe. Around 5 kilometers from you, where the horizon begins, the ground noticeably curves away from you. If you could see through the ground, you'd see people from below or sideways. But they don't fall down off the planet because gravity doesn't actually pull them down. Down is an illusion of your reference frame. To Earth's reference frame, gravity just pulls in. But for humans there is an up and down because within our frame of reference that just makes sense.
Alright, first of all the flat earthers basically, ask this question like if the earth is flat, what happens at the edge? Does water fall off? First of all, what is falling off? That's gravity. You're talking about gravity. And if you believe in gravity, why would earth be flat, right? At the massive scale, gravity would be too strong and everything would, basically cross to a ball. That's why everything is spherical in the world. But if you're believing in flat earth, then you're not believing properties of gravity. Then why would you even ask that does water spill off? That's just stupid. And as far as up and down, yeah, I guess there are no such thing as up and down when you see basically entire universe. But most things basically, spin, planets spin, stars spin, galaxies spin. So there can be north and south, right? It's a thumb rule. Basically, if you take your right hand and curl your fingers towards the rotation. So if it rotate this way, if you call that, the thumb is pointing at north. If it's rotating other way, thumb is pointing out, so that's the north. So you can know north and south, right?
Which is also why we think that the planet itself has an up and down, north and south. And we made our maps accordingly. But an observer looking at the solar system might disagree. Our maps make sense to us because we're used to them, not because they are correct. Okay, so this is step one. Your position on what feels like a flat surface but is actually a sphere. But this sphere is always moving, never staying in one position. Earth is orbiting a star, the Sun, at the center of the solar system.
Yeah.
While we usually imagine this as pretty orderly, someone looking at us from the outside would see something pretty messy.
I like how Saturn is basically bobbing, right? Basically, even our Earth, right, is bobbing at its place because of the moon, right? Because center of those objects, gravity is not in the center of the Earth, right? Center point of it, so it's kind of bob, right? What is it called when in the kids basically hold hand and just spin around? It's something like that. So most objects basically bob around like that. Even our sun somewhat, because of the gravities of like Jupiter, Saturn, things like that, is kind of, so even it bobs a bit.
To see this more clearly, we'll exaggerate all these movements.
Yeah.
This is not to scale. First of all, our orbit really is an ellipse, so we spend half the year sinking a little bit closer to the sun, speeding up, and half the year rising
Yeah, okay. This is more accurate than this one, but I guess he did say we're going to exaggerate.
up a bit and slowing down. And the ellipse itself changes its shape every 100,000 years too.
Yeah.
And in another cycle of 112,000 years, the ellipse itself is drifting, which at least creates a beautiful shape.
Yeah.
In the end, we get an orbital path that looks like a wobbly circle with wavy edges. And it gets worse as the moon now starts to mess things up too. As the moon is a pretty massive thing, it pulls on Earth. Both objects orbit their common center of gravity that lies around 4,700 kilometers off to the side of Earth's core. In practice, this means that as the moon orbits Earth, it's jerking Earth around a bit, enough to make it jiggle. Okay, so you're standing on the surface of a rotating planet that is jiggling around the sun in an elliptical orbit that changes a bit every year. But who's to say the Earth is right? From the perspective of the sun, the plane of the solar system is arbitrary. It's defined as the plane the Earth orbits in because that is convenient for us.
Yeah.
In reality, the other planets are just a little bit inclined with respect to our plane. From their point of view, we're the ones with a slightly bent orbit. But this isn't it, far from it. The solar system as a whole is orbiting the center of the Milky Way galaxy.
Yeah, and it's not going sideways, right? Our solar system is going this way, so Earth is spinning like this, and we're going that direction, so it's doing corkscrew style throughout the galaxy.
If we look at the Milky Way, we can clearly make out a galactic plane in which the solar system orbits the center every 230 million years. But of course, it's not that simple. First of all, the plane of the solar system is not aligned with the plane of the galaxy. Nothing really is. Just like the planets in the solar system orbit the sun on their own planes, so do all the stars orbiting the galactic center. The solar system as a whole is tilted about 60 degrees towards the galactic plane, speeding through space at almost 1,000,000 kilometers per hour. Someone in the center of the galaxy would see the orbits of the planets moving through space in a helix shape, which you can imagine as a corkscrew motion on the tilted plane of the solar system relative to the plane of the galaxy. This orientation in space means that sometimes the planets are sort of in front of the Sun as it orbits around the galactic core.
That's surprising. I thought it was going to be much closer to the, 90% or something, but 60%. I didn't know that.
Let's just look at this for a moment. There is a strange and eerie beauty about how our planets and the Sun move through space. Do you feel a bit dizzy? It gets worse. This is still not the whole story, because the mass of the galactic disk is constantly pulling on the solar system too. Like a drunk dolphin, we're diving down and shooting up hundreds of light years through the galactic plane 10 times every orbit along arcs thousands of light years long. We haven't mapped this motion out completely, as it takes the solar system tens of millions of years to go up and back once, and well, humanity is not that old. Let's look at your relative position again. On a planet tilted towards the Sun, jiggled around by the Moon, in a solar system tilted towards the galactic plane, moving forward in a helical shape, diving up and down through the plane. But where is up in a galaxy? At this point, the frame of reference becomes a bit arbitrary and pointless because of the nature of the universe at this scale. The Milky Way is part of a galaxy group that appears to be part of greater structures like the Laniakea supercluster, which itself is part of the gigantic Pisces-Cetus supercluster complex, and finally a galactic filament that spans hundreds of millions of light years in all directions and orientations. Someone looking right at us from that far away will only see the end of greatness. All stuff appears homogeneous, the same everywhere. Just like with empty space, when everything looks the same, who's to say anyone's view is better than anyone else's? We've reached the end of our little exercise in cosmic humility. Let's make the journey backwards again, from the indescribably large to the really large.
I mean, basically, it's like how ant basically, feels, right, every day. Ant doesn't feel gravity because it's way too small, right? Its surface tension to things is much stronger than gravity. So it can just walk up to the walls and shit like that. That's their normal, right? So our normal is basically this, right? We see north, south, we see up and down because of our Earth's gravity, right? We see the relations to our solar system and to our galaxy and how that works, and we make things based on that. But as a whole galaxy, obviously things become more of a perspective than anything else, right? In the end, everything just blends out, right? There is no north, there is no south when it comes to the major entire galaxy, right? Observable universe. It's just all web ways.
To our galactic home, to our galaxy, to the solar system diving up and down through the Milky Way, to the jiggle of existence. And finally, back to you right now, watching this video. If this is all a bit much, don't feel bad.
Yeah, it's so much.
The scale of the universe is brain-crushing, and trying to keep track of how everything is oriented or decide where the best up and down is hard. But it doesn't really matter, because it doesn't change where you are. You're already in the best spot you possibly could be, right here, right now. For all you care, nothing can stop you from being right at the center of your own little universe.
In your own little mind,
Perspective
Cupcake.
really is everything.
Your center of your own universe, Cupcake. Just be in your mind. All right. Man, see, the cosmic scales are so big after sometimes, like, yeah, it makes sense, yeah, because it's, it's way too big, right? So I like videos like this, basically the massive scale videos who talk about the cosmic scale like this, which gives you, this type of thought basically gives you perspective of a grander scale every time, right? When you see how the world works, right? How it's someone's perspective. When you basically see as whole galaxy, but then you see entire cosmos, like how this is relates to you, basically can affect how you see things going forward. Like, world is too big, we are insignificant. What we consider is our perspective, right? Because even the world doesn't agree with that, which is fucking awesome.
That's true for the universe we all inhabit, but even more so within your personal universe.
Yeah.
The way your life will unfold also depends on what you consider possible. Take us at Kurzgesagt. Our passion is to spark curiosity for science and make videos for free. But this is not a great business model, so we began to create our own lines of science posters, calendars and fun Kurzgesagt merch, pieces of Kurzgesagt that you can take home and touch. And we're doing this with Shopify, who were also so kind as to sponsor this video, which delighted us because we've been using their platform for years now. Shopify is an e-commerce platform that allows you to start and grow your business. And by starting a business, we really do mean from scratch. If you want to sell your hand...
Yeah, people, go to shopify.com/Kurzgesagt and support this channel. If there is a channel you should support, this is the one, because it's about science and it's a really good science channel. Which tackles way too many topics, right? Terraforming Venus to galactic scale things, existential crisis to even the basic scientific topics. Yeah, of all the scientific channels, Kurzgesagt is my favorite one because, like I said, it tackles a broader spectrum with animated things, right? Second is probably Vsauce, but yeah. All people, that was You Are Not Where You Think You Are. I guess it boils down to perspective, because even the playing field, space-time continuum can stretch, basically curve, so you can't really pinpoint anything. But yeah. Alright people, if you like my reaction, don't forget to like, subscribe, check out the reaction, there's a link in the description, check out the playlist I created for Kurzgesagt reactions in the end card or even the description. And yeah, I'll see you next time.